First of all, I appreciate you guys all being here, and really, really happy for our players. Extremely proud of them. I thought that they played a complete game with each other. Certainly wasn't perfect. A lot of things to correct. Sloppy at times. Too many penalties. Probably didn't have the finishing that we wanted. But we knew coming in that Kansas was highly ranked on defense. We knew that they were tremendous pass defense. We knew that they were taking the ball away at a record rate. So for our offense to protect the football and not turn the ball over was obviously huge, extremely critical. And, defensively, for us to get the fourth quarter shutout, that was special for us. That means a lot to us. And, Coach Snow was a little upset with me because, we threw the ball at the end and let them have one more drive. But I thought it was important that even our two defense had to go out there and play. And I thought they went out there and they played, and they made the plays down the stretch. And a lot of those guys are going to play a lot of football for us. So it was really good to see them do that. So I was proud of our players. I was really mostly proud of our older players. I was proud of our juniors and seniors. And, I thought this was the week where a lot of the parts of our team came together. And, I do my interview with you guys every Tuesday, and Smoke, I do a weekly radio thing with him, and KW Tex, I do a thing with them. And guys ask me a lot of questions, and so I was going home on Thursday night, and I got a text from Nick Florence. And Nick, as you guys all know, without knowing a ton of backstory, he's like one of the special people at Baylor. People always tell these stories about how he went in for a half to play and all these different things. And, he was just, he was saying, hey, I believe in what you guys are doing. If there's anything I can do. So I asked Nick to come talk to the team last night. And I thought it was really one of the pivotal moments in trying to build a football program. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a football program. And anytime there's change, like I left Temple and one of my best friends took over, he's trying to build a football program. And even though we are completely aligned and we're so similar, he's building something different. It's like, you redo your house, you might change the colors. Well, it's different, and so same house, but things are different. So we're trying to build a football program, and we're trying to do it. And Nick got up and he told the story of the 2012 Baylor football team. And I thought it was so unbelievable that our players heard from a Baylor guy. And, you thought about that team. You thought about Nick. And I thought about, Coach Briles. And, here I am, I'm a coach. I went to one program to Temple, and I built a program there. We went 2-10. We went 6-6. Then we won 10 games in 10 games. And, after 3 years there, you're sitting there, you're saying, hey, you just look at it, and you're sitting there saying, hey, is it working? And you see if you can turn it or not. And so Nick was talking to us about, Coach came in here, and he went 4-8, he went 4-8, he went 7-6. And they went 10-3. Went to a bowl game, and RG3, Robert won the Heisman Trophy, and everyone in the country is kind of looking there, sitting there saying, hey, what are they going to be like, next year? And I think about Coach Briles. He's sitting there and he's saying, I've been here for whatever that is, 4 years or so, and I'm 25 and 25, but I just had this huge season, and I've never met Coach, but I think about coaches and the pressure that, you're sitting there saying, hey, I've got to continue what I'm doing. That's the pressure I feel. It's the pressure you guys asked me about. That's the pressure all coaches feel. And so Nick told the team, he went game by game about, playing SMU and winning, but, giving up 500 yards of offense. And then he talked about losing out here to Brian Bell and Sam Houston. They were losing 20-10 at halftime, and they came back and beat Sam Houston. And he talked about playing ULM, not even a Power 5 team, a Group of 5 team, and being down by, I think he said they won by 5, and they were 3-0, and then they went out and they lost their first 4 Big 12 games, and they were 3-4. And Nick, as those guys who know Nick, what a special guy he is. He talked about throwing 5 picks at TCU. He talked about the pressure he felt, and the pressure that they all felt, going to West Virginia and losing 70-63 and giving up all those yards, and then losing 41-19, and the offense couldn't do the ball at TCU. And he's sitting there, and he's taken over for Robert Griffin, and he's taken over for this program, and they're 3-4, and then they're 4-5. And I think about, as a coaching staff, you're sitting there, you're saying, boy, we're whatever, we're 28-29 or whatever it is. How you can start to look at yourself and say, is what I'm doing working? And so Nick told the team about how all of a sudden in the middle of that year, through all the adversity, through people saying things, and, they just stopped worrying about, is it the offense, is it the defense, and they came together as a team. And as you guys know, beat Kansas State, and then beat Oklahoma State, and then went to the bowl game. And it was that team that went 8-5. It was that team that led to the championships. And a lot of kids on our team, the Chris Platts, the Ira Lewises, the Greg Roberts, they came in on the heels of all those championships. And I think sometimes they feel so much pressure about, I have to live up to, what the guys before me did. But it's all those guys on that 8-5 team, that could have quit and made it so hard, but they fought. And the coaches fought, and the players fought, and they got that team from 3-4, and then from 4-5, they got them to, I guess, 7-5. Yeah, or I can't remember. I'm not 6-6 or 7-5 or whatever, and then went and beat UCLA in the bowl game. And a team that, as Nick said, lost 70-63 or gave up 500 yards to some small schools. All of a sudden now beat UCLA 41-27 in a bowl game. So I tell you that long story to tell you how grateful I am to Nick Florence that he told that story. Because as you're sitting there talking to the players and they're trying to figure out and they're putting so much pressure on themselves, he gave them a message of it's just all about coming together as a team. And when the defense supports the offense and the offense supports the defense, and we all recognize that the team is bigger than one person, and the team is bigger than one player, and the team is bigger than one side of the ball, and the program, Baylor football program, is bigger than any one player, any one person. And when he said that, I thought our kids sat up a little bit in their chair and took a little bit of pressure off. And so I thought we went into this game today understanding that we are the type of team that's going to have to fight, scratch, and claw for everything that we want. And we got to take the pressure off and just go do that. And if we fight, scratch, and claw and have fun together and run and jump and hug and smile and celebrate, and when our punter makes a 60-yard kick, to see guys running, I told the players, I said, okay, I'll change a little bit. I'm kind of like an old school, like, don't smile guy. I said, all right, have fun. I'll even try to do a couple fun things, okay? But be pros, but let's have some fun. And I thought we saw that today. And so, those guys on the team that are juniors and seniors that have been through so much, I always ask our team, am I my brother's keeper? Am I being my brother's keeper? I told them, I said, you know what? I always say that to you guys. I don't know if I've done that always for you. I think I have, but I want to tell you today that all I care about today is that I have your back. And so go play. And I want you to have each other's backs. And I appreciate Nick Florence for having our back and for reaching out to talk to us. And I appreciate Mac Rhodes. And I appreciate Linda Livingstone. Because as you go to build it, when you build something, sometimes, you have a week or you have a game or you have a stretch of time where it doesn't look exactly the way you want it to look. But being in that locker room just now was fun. And I'm proud of those guys. I thought we had a couple guys. I know there'll be all kinds of storylines. I know people are going to ask me about the quarterbacks and all that. I thought Charlie stepped up. I thought Jalen was a great teammate. Didn't get a chance to really play, but waited. I thought, Josh Fleeks was really one of the big stories of the game. We knew what he could do, but he practiced himself into the opportunity to play today. And he had a tremendous week of practice. We put together a simpler plan for a young guy, but he went out and made an unbelievable play on that touchdown. And a lot of other little great plays in between. And in a game of a lot of plays, I thought, at the end of the day, Graylin Arnold, the play he made on 4th down, was so important. And here's a guy that is a competitor. He's tough. At a moment's notice, he went out there and returned punts for us. But for a guy who makes his living covering, when it was needed, he went out there and he made the physical play for us to go win. So a lot to be corrected, but I am happy for our guys. I'm happy we had 4 sacks for the first time since the Cactus Bowl. Happy to see BJ and Greg get theirs. Greg's getting his because he's practicing at such a high level. And we'll try to correct some things and see what we can do moving forward, but I'm proud of the guys to be 1-0 in the Big 12.
What made you decide to go Charlie almost so?
He just scored. He moved the ball the first drive, and then he moved the ball the second drive, and it just seemed like, okay, I said, hey, let's give him one more series. If he scores again, he scored again, and then it just felt like, hey, the ball's moving, and so that's really not fair to Jalen. And I hate it for him. Like I said, you saw that when he got in there, you saw the play that he made, the throw he made to Jalen Hurd, not many people can make. But the ball was moving, and that's what we needed. We needed the ball to move, and we knew they were going to play that different defense. They were going to play like that 3-3 stack, try to not give us many big plays. And he was keeping us alive with his feet. We called a lot of quarterback draws today to try to keep the run game alive. But I thought that was the X factor early on with Charlie making some of those plays.
You talked about it a little bit, but just kind of the youth movement of Josh making that big play, Taquan making another big play today. How good is that to see? You've been talking
Yeah, we have a lot of good young players. JT Woods and Christian Morgan played a ton. But they're learning from some really special older guys too, and so, it felt like, without watching the tape, felt like they double covered Mims a lot. Really couldn't get him going. Taekwon made that catch, it got called back, but that was as tough a catch as you can make. But I thought, so I think what you see is you see a lot of young guys that are, the moment's not too big, and you see a bunch of older guys leading them along the way, So when you're on a team and you have guys like Greg Roberts, and you have guys like Ira Lewis, Kedrick Vaughn's out there mentoring the young guys, then the young guys will get better quick. And you have a guy like Jalen Hurd, he kind of got banged up in his hip. The NFL guys all come in, hey, he wouldn't play tailback anymore. He said, Coach, whatever you need, I put him at tailback, 10 yards, 12 yards, whatever we needed. And so we just have a special group of older guys, Pat and Blake and all of them. So they're teaching the young guys. And that's why I said it was so special for the juniors and seniors to go win that game today. To me, just, to win a Big 12 game at home and, win our second game at home because they're the ones that are leading the way, and they're the ones that are helping the young guys.
Can you talk about your defense a little bit, what you saw today that was a little different from those guys against the run and the quarterback?
Yeah, I think it started this week in practice. I mean, you could tell they had a different look, like they're starting to click. And it's not like they're doing anything different. It's just they're getting more and more confident in doing it. I think the biggest thing is we got pressure on the quarterback. We made some negatives. The defensive line was really good today. And then we really didn't give up very many big plays. I mean, we gave up the one long catch down the sideline. We rallied. We gave up the long run. And, that kid's a special player now. I mean, we knew, hey, we're going to have to make some plays on him. But I thought they rallied and they hustled and they just had edge and they flew around. Still not creating turnovers. They threw one to us, we didn't catch it. And when that happens, it'll take another big step, I think. But I just thought we had a lot of guys that went out there and competed. Again, I think the pressure on the quarterback, helped and, hopefully tried to make them one-dimensional where they ended up having to throw pretty much at the end.
Matt, you did it in some different ways, but did you like what you got from your running game? I mean, sometimes you just lined up and ran.
Yeah, we Jermichael, that long one that we thought, maybe the guy made a nice play, maybe could have scored, but it was better. It was still not where it needs to be, but it's getting better, and so, losing X, that's not something we want, but, we're just trying to get a little bit better each week. And, we knew defensively, statistically, they were up there, and it was going to be an unusual defense, and there's going to be some things that we were going to have to do in terms of RPOs to get the ball. And, I think halftime we had about 250 yards. I think the second half we probably didn't make the plays we needed to make, and really a lot of it was penalties. I think at one point we were 0 for 7 on third down in the second half, and it was really, we were looking 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16. And so, the official came over early on and said, you guys' hands are all way outside. They're going to get a lot of holding calls today. And I just told the guys, I said, hey, just keep playing, man. I mean, what am I going to do? So I'm anxious to watch the tape, but I thought all those guys stepped up and tried to play hard.
Matt, you've mentioned that each game is a different game. So in terms of the quarterback, platoon, or whatever you want to call it, rotation, do you still sort of judge it week to week?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we'd have gone out there today and after 3 drives we'd have been over, I probably would have put Jalen back in and said, hey, let's let it happen. But there was a little bit of rhythm to it, and like I said, we were up. I think Charlie scored on 3 of the first 4 drives or whatever it was, and we had the chance there. Mims had a chance at that ball down there on the goal line. We thought maybe we had, so that'd have been 21 instead of 23. So I have so much confidence in Jalen McClendon, and it's one of the unique situations. I mean, literally, I have I'm not talking about like scouts. I have like directors, NFL directors coming in to look at him, because he's got everything. And so, but Charlie's a special guy too. And so we have 2 special guys. And so when you have the chance to play him, we're going to play them both. If we get into a game where we get off to a big lead and we're rolling, then, I didn't want to upset the apple cart. So, but I think we'll just go this week and see how it goes.
Man, if Nick Florence had not called, text you, or you had not asked him to talk to the team, did you have a different message for them? What was the message going to be if he had not talked?
Like last, well, so my message has been similar in terms of it's all about when we will. Like I thought last week, I said, guys, I showed them the scenes from the Replacements. Have you ever seen that movie, The Replacements, where he talks about being in quicksand and how you can't get out. I said that's all last week was. I mean, the first half of the game last week. I hate to talk about last week after this week, but last week, like in the first half, it was 7-0 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. it was 14-0 with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Like, it didn't have to become 24-0. But there's a pall over our sideline. It's quiet. And I showed him the stats. Like, in the first half, we had 39 plays. You know, we averaged like 2.9 yards per play. We had no points, and we had 148 yards. And then the second half, we had 35 plays. We didn't do anything. I didn't do anything magical at halftime. We said, let's go play football. We caught the ball. We played a little bit better. All of a sudden, now we had 252 yards. We had 27 points. I said, so if we had just done what we did in the second half, in the first half, we would have finished with 500 yards and, 54 points and felt really good about where we were. So my point was, how do you get out of quicksand? And the guys were like, you stop moving. I said, well, the easiest way to get out is you reach your hand out and you ask your brother to help pull you out. And so that's been the biggest thing that I've been trying to teach each other is like, we'll be a great team when we are feeding off each other, when we are, I got you. And so as Nick told this story, like, I was almost like the players are going to look at me like, oh, he put this guy up to this. Because he started saying how they, in 2012, went from being like, oh, if they could just get one stop, to when they got one stop, started saying, hey, great job. And how the defense started saying, and then he talked about Eddie Lackey, back-to-back pick sixes, and just the difference once they started celebrating with each other and pushing each other. And I wasn't there, so, I mean, I'm not commenting on what happened. I'm just saying this is what he said. So he just gave reality to what I'm saying. And the cool thing was he gave reality to it in a Baylor way. Those guys that those players all looked up to, he explained it, right? And so, so often when you build a program, the players that come in after you're winning don't know what it took to get there, right? And so, like, and that's true anywhere. Like, I was a football player at Penn State. I used to walk down the hall. There was nothing you could do at Penn State for the first time. Like, you walked in the building, you walked by 27 academic All-Americans, you walked by All-Americans, you walked by Heisman Trophy winners, but you were also walking by the people that built the program. And so you had this responsibility to uphold it, but you didn't know what the struggle was like. And so what I wanted our guys to understand is, you are the guys doing the struggling. Like, Fleeks is going to be sitting up here someday talking to 14 freshmen saying, you guys don't understand what Blake Blackmar did, and you guys don't understand about Chris Platt, and that he'll be telling those stories. And so I wanted them to know how special they were. But then my message would be the same. The message has been the same the whole time. Just have each other's back. And if we start playing being that kind of a team, I mean, every week will be a new week, and every week will be a battle. And we're not going to it's not going to be easy. And we don't want it to be easy. But if we play together, we at least have a chance.
With what you've been doing with Jalen Hurd the last couple of weeks in the backfield and splitting up, is there a goal to just try and get him more touches, like X amount of touches a game? Is that why you're putting him in the backfield a little bit more? How do you see that?
We'd like to get him a certain amount of balls a game. Part of that is when you throw the ball to somebody, you call routes to somebody, like, they kind of have to be, they have to be open, and then the quarterback has to see it, so there's a lot of things to it. When you hand the ball to somebody, it's just way easier to give it to them. I think that hit was really bothering him, and so that's why we put Fleeks in the second quarter, and then Fleeks was lights out. Then Jalen in the second half, and then got it loosened up and thought he had a chance to go play. So I think we'll continue to try to use him in both, playing a little bit of slot, playing a little bit of tailback here and there. He's just, I think he's the second all-time leading rusher at Tennessee. So you put the ball in his hands, he can do special things. So we'll try to continue to find ways to get him the ball. But I also think, when he gets a little bit banged up, there's no use running him ragged in that game.
Do you think you need to use him? Do you think you would need to use him more, like when you go to Norman next week, and then when you've got Kansas State with the Big 12 season unfolding, or is that just too early to tell?
I think he's a great player, and anytime we can get him the ball, it'll be great. But at the same time, guys have to be healthy. They have to kind of be clicking, to get him the ball. So I thought today, once he looked like he went down, Fleeks got in there and he made the plays, and we felt good about him. So, I just don't think the move is just to make him purely a tailback. I think he's a long time. He'll play receiver for a long time in the NFL. But yeah, we'd like to get him the ball more, like to get Platt the ball more, like to get Mims the ball more. It's just hard to kind of spread it all around because it's so, especially out there, it's so dictated by what the defense is doing. Well, I think most plays are usually a combination of both. I mean, they ran the ball, they ran it to an unblocked defender, he missed the tackle. And, if that was a heck of an effort by Jamison Houston to get the guy out of bounds and not let it become a touchdown. But, yeah, I mean, that was just a missed tackle and maybe a misalignment. I'd have to see the film. But, the thing about what they do that's so hard is they spread you so far out that it always comes down to one guy having to make the tackle. And so we made a lot of them today. He made one. We told him, hey, guys, he's going to bust them. He might bust a bunch of them. Run them down. Get the ball down and play, and let's live to fight another play. But that was just that.
I think he had 14 carries. I think he had y'all limited him to negative yardage on 14 carries.
Yeah, it says he had, because it says he had 14 for 103. He lost 14 as well. So he had 89 total and long of 72. So on the other 13 carries, he had 17 yards. So, yeah, I was proud of the defense. I thought the biggest thing with the defense is they played with energy. And I thought they got vertical and got up the field, When our defense works, we create negatives. And the key was today to create some negatives. They made some big plays where I thought our guys rallied to fight back.
Coach, you guys had 13 penalties for about 140 yards. We know how you hate penalties. Can you comment on kind of what you thought, what was going through your head on some of those fouls, and then also how the defense responded to, it seems like you stepped up after the penalties to get a key stop or a sack or something like that?
I thought the holds bothered me, and as I said, the official said early on, hey, that hands are outside. You're going to get a lot of holding calls today. And I told him, I said, I coached offensive line. I don't want the hands to be outside. I'm with you. So we tried, to get our hands inside, get our guys just to finish. So I have to see them to really comment on them. I think Tuesday I'll probably give you a better answer. They were devastating at times. Some of the other ones. Would be hard for me to say. I thought the personal fouls, hurt us at time on defense. So, after last week, we just didn't feel like we played as hard and as, effort-filled as we wanted. So I felt that way today. I think we didn't play as clean as we wanted. So just keep trying to work to get that perfect combination, right, where we're playing really, really hard, but at the same time also precise. And but I'd probably watch them and then answer you better on Tuesday in terms of, exactly why did we do this and why did we do that. And, a couple of those ones were some young guys. I think sometimes with the young players and they get in there, they panic a little bit and they start to grab and hold on. And we just can continue to work on their confidence so they can really come off the ball and get their hands inside and trust and believe in what they're doing.
Matt, how much can the defense maybe beat out with a play like Baylor? If they score there, it's.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't just that; it was also the way it happened. I thought there were several hits today, big time hits where like our team was like, yeah, and even like our punter, he punted that one ball and the whole team went nuts for him, So I thought there were a lot of plays like that where they started to get a little bit of that. What I was just talking about with Smoke, where they started to feed off each other. But Grayland's play to me was the play of the day. It just wasn't the fact that he made the stop; it was the way he did it, just the physicality that he showed, and I'm so proud of Grayland for not that he even stopped him, but that he just the effort that he gave and the physicality he tried to show. Because when you play like that, eventually you figure it out. You find a way to win the game, and that's all we wanted was to go play like that. Like we didn't feel like we played like that last week. We played like that today, so let's try to do it again next week.
Matt, the first half today was pretty much the complete opposite of the first half of last week. How much was that emphasized coming in to get out to that kind of start?
Well, when you guys walk through our building, you always see the sign, don't beat ourselves. And that was really the the story last week was why hey, we're in quicksand and we feel like we're sinking. Why? Well, it's nothing that they're doing; it's what we're doing. And then so if you have the ability, if you're the cause of getting yourself in it, then you can get yourself out of it so easily by taking a breath and just doing what you do. So I thought our guys had that mentality. I think the biggest thing that we looked at was that the second quarter has been our worst quarter this year. Like we're really good. Like we're giving up an average of 35 yards in the fourth quarter, and I think the defense has given up 10 points in the fourth quarter. The second quarter, we've given up 39 points, and so that I showed it to him, and I said no one could believe it. And I said, well, so what are we going to do? Let's correct it. So today, we're one of these teams that does fourth quarter. We're over there going second quarter. Like let's finish the half, and I thought that was really cool to see the guys try to go finish the half, and then. But yeah, I mean, we emphasize things all the time. It's just sometimes. It's unfortunate in life, but it's true. Sometimes you have to go through adversity to learn the lesson, even though you've been hearing the lesson the whole time, right? Sometimes you have to go through last week to say, oh, let's lock in on this. So I thought everyone did a better job this week. I thought our practice on Tuesday was really, really, really competitive, and I thought you saw a lot of the things that showed up in practice show up in the game.
What's the biggest light of the drops as well, which have been a bugaboo, but Flag, Fleets, Gordon, I mean, all your wide receivers seem to be really sturdy catching the football.
Yeah, they made a ton of plays and some big time plays. Even Taekwon on the touchdown, I mean, he started to drop it, but he made that big time catch. On the other play that Taekwon caught, he they called it back for a hold, but that was an unbelievable catch when he got knocked out, or I shouldn't say knocked out, but knocked hard. And so he's quietly developing into a pretty good player, yeah, I think those guys they knew they can make plays, and they wanted to go make plays today, and they did.
With the way the offense was moving in the first half, what did you see as the biggest difference between the first and the second half today?
Penalties. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we don't have penalties, we probably get up and running even more. I think there was a little time there at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, where we were maybe a little more conservative, knowing that probably we had the game in control on defense, and so trying to maybe run a little bit more of the clock. But penalties were the biggest issue in the second half. At least now, as I go back and watch, I might feel differently. And I think the biggest thing for that fumble right before the half, we stopped them and we got the ball in the punt return, and we were going to catch the ball and we were going to go 2 minutes and try to go score. And that fumble, I went in halftime. I said, "Hey guys, what's the only thing that's going to get us beat here is we turn the football over. That's what Kansas lives off of." And so, but I think that maybe that's the biggest thing I'd say was just the penalties in the second half. Really, it just time after time after time, a couple times. So we have to improve that. So it's always fun to win and find things that you have to improve, right? So hopefully that we'll have the same authenticity with which we look at ourselves on Monday. Hopefully we'll have the same that we had last week. And last week was painful for a lot of guys, and hard to it was hard to overcome. Well, if we have the same, we can have a different feeling, but the same attention to detail on Monday, then we can make hopefully major improvements. And we'll have to figure out some injury things with Xavier going down, and Jenna Fu Morgan's leg at the end was bothering pretty good. So we'll have to make some steps in terms of, hey, who's going to play and do they know what they're doing.
What is Xavier's injury?
They were trying to figure out if it was a broken ankle or if it was an ankle sprain. So I don't know. It sounded like when I left, they hope it's an ankle sprain, but usually those things are, re-MRI tomorrow or whatever. So I hate to say something and have it be wrong, but I would say sounded like he thought it was he diagnosed himself to me as an ankle sprain. So we'll see if he's right or not. But was that? So sometimes those high ankle sprains, they spread apart and they look at him. So we'll see what it is. But one thing I know about X, he's a tough young man, and he'll find a way to get back just as soon as he can.
Coach, did you decide you were just going to force the rushing game this year because you thought this week because you had trouble the last couple of weeks?
Did I feel like I was just going to try to force it?
Yeah, did you say we're just going to keep doing it until it works?
I don't know if I had that approach. I just think we tried to run the football, and I think we only had 9. I think we had like 9 or 12 tailback carries at halftime. So yeah, I just think we tried to call what we saw, but once we had a lead, also be smart enough to know like, hey, let's not turn the ball over and throw them a free one. So I thought in the second half a couple of those runs popped open. JaMychal had a nice run. So yeah, I don't know, nothing maybe more than that. I mean, the me inside, the real me that comes out every once in a while would probably been in 22 personnel with Hurd and run weak side ISO about 15 more times. And there'll be a time where I'll do that. But I just thought our team in the fourth quarter needed to play. I mean, I thought Jason Moore playing left guard, needed more reps of playing, and other guys needed more reps of playing. So we tried to play a little bit more as opposed to maybe 4-minuting the game out and give guys opportunities to develop. So that those guys that I don't know who's going to be left guard next week. If it's Christian, if he's healthy, if it's Xavier Newman, if it's Jason Moore, but whoever it is, I want them to see themselves on tape. So, but I'm not sure about anything else other than that, really.
So, Matt, do you look at your quarterback situation as still a rotation, or how do you see it now after today?
Just what I said earlier. I mean, just, I think today I have confidence in both guys. I think I'd be ready to play both. But today, I thought Charlie was hot. I think if we went up there next week and one of the quarterbacks is hot, I'll play him, and if we're struggling, I'll go to the other guy, knowing that each guy brings different, gifts and skills to the table. But just kind of like the tailbacks, whichever one's hot, they get to finish the game out. Kind of the same thing with the quarterbacks. But, it's Saturday. We just finished this game, right? So it's hard for me to even process. I haven't watched the tape yet. So I'll go home tonight and watch the film. And I'll probably watch the film and say, I'll make 100 notes, and then tomorrow I'll watch it again, and then Monday. So I'll probably have a better answer for you on Tuesday. But I think right now it would be probably be ready to play both and see who's hot.
You talked about trying to tell the players, and Nick Florence telling the players, take some of the pressure off of themselves, just go play and have fun, make plays. Did you sense that in the post-game locker room, that these guys had taken some of the pressure off themselves?
I sensed it in the pregame locker room. That was the biggest thing. I think in the pregame locker room, as I said to them, it was the first time I walked in there and I felt like I was looking at a complete football team. And, I was honest and emotional with them. I was before the game. And so I was happy to see them be successful at the end. And I saw a completely different sideline, completely different sideline, completely different tenor. And we'll just keep trying to build it. We don't ever want to be over the top, but we want the guys to have fun. And you have to make yourself have fun even when you're not having fun sometimes, And so there's a lot to have fun with today, but, we hopefully will continue to improve that.